Integrating Music into the General Education Classroom. Jackie Owen, Valley City State University. Some schools, especially here in North Dakota, are lucky enough to have music specialists who take the children into the music classroom once or twice a week for music instruction. But many schools across the country today have eliminated music specialists and have left the teaching of music up to the elementary general education classroom teacher. Unfortunately, elementary teachers often have many reasons for not teaching music in their general education classrooms. The first reason that teachers often give for not teaching music in the general education classroom is, "I could never teach music because I can't sing." However, you can use music in your classroom even if you have never had a voice lesson or sung with a group. Can you yoo-hoo like this? Yoo-hoo! That's the only starting point needed in order to teach music in your classroom. Another reason teachers give for not teaching music is, "I don't have a piano." But the bottom line is, you don't need a piano, and they take up too much classroom space anyway. Some teachers play the piano, but they feel they don't play well enough to play in front of the children or to play and have the kids sing at the same time. I was one of those teachers. Again, I can't stress enough that you don't need a piano to do music in the classroom. Pianos take up too much space, space you don't have. Some teachers worry that they don't read music, but you don't have to read music to integrate music into the classroom curriculum. Knowing how to read music can be helpful, but it's not necessary. And it certainly isn't necessary to read music to be able to begin integrating music in the regular classroom. That's because integrating music is a little different than teaching music. It's a whole different song, so to speak. Finally, in this era of standards-based instruction and intense accountability, many teachers feel that instructional time in the classroom needs to be spent only on content areas. But just like art, music can be integrated with any content area. Furthermore, integrating music will help to reinforce content learning. There are actually many reasons to teach music. One reason to teach music is to reach students whom you might not otherwise reach. I have had many students, and you probably know some students from your past high school experience who might not have ever come to school except for their involvement in band or choir. Another reason to teach music is to reinforce concepts taught in content areas. Research has shown us that when we have students sing about what they're learning, the vocabulary and the concepts are remembered more easily. A third reason to teach music is to increase joyful learning. If you've ever been in band or choir, or even another group of some kind, even if it isn't a musical group, you probably have very fond memories of fun that you have had in those groups. Being part of the band or choir is a joyful experience for many students. In fact, just the act of singing or moving or creating is a joyful experience for many students. When music can be used to teach and reinforce content skills, then content learning can become a joyful learning experience too. As a general education classroom teacher, you most likely will not be teaching students to read music. You probably will not be teaching any music theory. I can imagine you're saying, well, that's a relief. However, you will be introducing and reinforcing the basic vocabulary of music. Some of the music vocabulary you are likely to use in the general education classroom includes pitch, melody, rhythm, tempo, and form. Let's take a look at what these words mean. Pitch refers to whether the notes are high or low. Melody is the actual tune of the song. Beat is the repeating steady pulse underneath the song. Rhythm is the rhythm of the words, the sound of the words in the song. It's difficult to explain, but it's most closely related to language. It's kind of the beat of the syllables. Tempo is the speed of the song. Tempo can be fast or slow. Form refers to the structure of the song. You will use the basic vocabulary of music when you are integrating music in the general education classroom. However, you will teach it in bits and pieces, and you will simplify it to make it meaningful to both you and the students. Once you are comfortable integrating music in the general education classroom, you might find yourself using more advanced music vocabulary. You might catch yourself using words like notation, improvisation, timbre, and ostinato. Notation refers to the written music. Improvisation is the spontaneous creation of one's own music. Timbre refers to the quality of the sound that distinguishes that sound from other sounds. Sounds made with wood, for example, sound different than sounds made with brass. An ostinato is a musical phrase that repeats itself, often above the melody. Don't worry if you are not familiar with these terms at this point. You don't need them as you begin integrating music in the classroom. You may, however, find a use for them once you have been integrating music successfully for a while. Teaching music is different than integrating music. For the most part, music teachers teach music, while classroom teachers integrate music. There are some exceptions to this. If you are an accomplished musician and you teach in a general education classroom, there's a pretty good chance that you will be teaching music within your classroom. When teaching music, you teach the music standards. Teaching of musical concepts is more in-depth. Students listen, sing, move, and create. Students are taught to read notes. Students play instruments. When integrating music, you teach your content standards in language arts, math, science, and social studies. You touch on musical concepts, and you do everything you can to honor these concepts by teaching them correctly. Students listen, sing, move, and create. Students are generally not involved or are minimally involved in note reading. Students are not likely to play instruments because you won't have them in your classroom, but they may learn to use other sources for sound, such as body percussion and even classroom furniture. When integrating music in the classroom, there are some do's and don'ts. Do's start with 2- and 3-note songs until students are successfully matching pitch. You will learn some 2- and 3-note songs in this class. Do give students many opportunities to sing. Those opportunities can be at the beginning of class, during a content lesson, before recess or lunch, and at the end of the day. Do sing higher than what you are used to. Children have higher voices than adults, and it is difficult for children to stay on the right pitch when the music is being sung too low. It will seem awkward at first for you to sing higher, but soon you will get used to it, and singing higher will also, believe it or not, be less stressful on your voice. It is also important to incorporate movement with music. Think of it this way. When you hear a song on the radio that you really like, you often find yourself moving to the beat. Movement is a natural part of making music, and it should be encouraged, not discouraged. Do provide safe opportunities for children to sing in a large group, in small groups, and alone. Most people feel safest singing in a large group, so you might feel most comfortable starting with that. But as children become more comfortable singing, give them opportunities to sing in smaller groups and also alone. Integrating music is an opportunity to provide joyful learning experiences for your students. So, when integrating music in the classroom, do have fun. Don't, under any circumstances, ever compare children's voices. Singing is a personal risk for most people. A teacher who stops the song and says something like, "Jake, I wish you could make your voice sound more like Sam's," is really telling the student, "Jake, I don't like your voice. It doesn't sound good." That can be a crushing experience for any student. Do not expect children to do in front of you what you are not willing to do in front of them. So if you want children to sing, you sing too. If you want to incorporate movement, then you need to be willing to do movement yourself. In short, if you are asking children to risk in front of you, you need to be willing to risk in front of them. Don't expect all children to love music, because some won't. However, children who don't love music can still be required to participate in it. There's nothing wrong with having a growth experience. Perhaps the biggest don't when integrating music in the classroom is don't ever tell the child he or she can't sing or that he doesn't have a good enough voice. In my opinion, this is like saying to a child, "Your face isn't pretty enough to be with us," or "Your skin isn't the right color," or "Your eyes look funny." It's just plain cruel. In this course, you will learn the basic recipe for success in integrating music in the general education classroom. You will learn by participating in activities that have been based on this recipe for success. I have used this recipe many times in my career as a K-6 teacher. The recipe is: start with a song or a story or a topic. Then ask yourself, what could we do with this? Then add as many layers as you can. Some of those layers are singing, movement, rhythm, beat, speech, instruments, and adapting the song for use in different settings. You will see how these layers work as the course progresses. Each segment of this online course involves viewing a video and learning the song or songs in that video. Each video will show you the layers I used from my recipe for success. In many cases, you will also observe footage of my face-to-face class participating in the activities. The videos show how you could teach a song or how you could adapt it to a content area, and some of the layers you could add to the song as you turn it into a learning activity. At the end of each video, you will be given directions for the online assignment that goes with that activity. Follow the directions to complete the assignment for each activity. In most cases, you will need to learn the song and sing and record yourself singing the song. Most times, you will also record your reflection of this activity. This will require you to have a camera and a microphone. After you have sung the song and recorded yourself, you will most often be asked to upload your video. Please have fun with this. Yes, I will hear you singing when I view your assignments. And you may not feel like you have a good enough voice for singing solos. However, you are going to be an elementary school teacher. You will be a soloist in front of your students as you teach each song. So know that this is a good experience in preparing you to risk in front of your students. And know that I am not judging the quality of your voice. What I am really judging is your ability to learn and sing a song well enough to teach elementary school students that song.